Confidence is not a superpower. Confidence is a key skill to unlock your true potential. Until you know how to use that tool, confidence can be scary, risky, and uncomfortable. Lacking confidence, missing opportunities, and letting life slip by unfulfilled is a scary thought. When you're on your deathbed and all your friends and family are around and your grandson goes to you, "Grandad, do you ever regret anything?" And then it hits you. All the times you were too scared or didn't have the confidence come up, and then you think, wow, I wasted my life. You are the director of your life. You get to decide how the next scene plays out. It won't be easy. It won't always be fun. But will it be worth it? Oh, it fucking will. Start living life confidently. You want to be able to start a conversation. You want to talk to the girl that you can't stop thinking about. You want to be able to talk in front of a group of people without going red, getting shy, or even embarrassing yourself. The word confidence is broad and it needs to be broke down. We have epistemic confidence, social confidence, gut confidence, and self-confidence. The act of being confident is knowing the outcome. If you are a football player and you know you can hit the crossbar 9 times out of 10, and I come up to you and I say, if you hit that crossbar, I'll buy your drinks all night. You're not going to hesitate because you know how to hit the ball, the sound it makes when it hits the ball, the dink when it hits the crossbar. It all plays out in your mind and you know you can do that 9 times out of 10. The act of being confident is being proud of where you have come from. I can give someone a body with 6-pack abs, but they will still be that person with all their insecurities, self-beliefs, and all that type of stuff. They haven't changed in any way. The body alone doesn't give them the confidence. It's the journey that takes you to that point that gives you the confidence. You can count on yourself to make sure you do the hard things. And if you can't do the hard things, if you can't do something, you know you can give it a good try, and that's still confidence. Before we get into how to be more confident, we need to know why you want to be more confident. Is it because you want to start a business? Is it because you want to get better at dating? Be able to step into the gym? When times get tough, and they will on this journey, you're going to be faced with situations you really don't want to do or think you can do. And you need to think back to why you started this in the first place. I want you to think why you clicked on this video. The reason alone is more powerful than wanting to be more confident. The next time you go up to a girl in the gym, don't say things like, "Oh, come on mate, you've got this." That won't push you to go up to her. You need to think back why you want to be more confident, why you want to ask her out. Is it because you're feeling a bit lonely and you haven't been on a date before, so it'd be nice to go on a first date? This will give you the fuel and adrenaline and remind you of the pain of why you started and why you want to go up to her. And it'll push you into action. This is the same as situations you want to be more confident in. I've always wanted to be able to speak to a group of people and say what I want without getting embarrassed. Throughout my life, I've put myself through different experiences to get more memories and experiences. Telling myself my pain point, which was, I don't want to work for somebody else. I want to push and inspire thousands, maybe millions, to be better every day. That stored information I now have is used for future situations, so I know what to do in different situations. When someone asks me a question, I know how to answer it, what not to say, what to say, what resources I can give to them to help. All of this comes from experiences I've gained through positive and negative outcomes. Diet has a lot to do with how we feel, and I'm not talking about the diet you're thinking about. I'm talking about the diet of information you expose yourself to. Like the news, who you follow, what you read, what podcasts you listen to, but most importantly, who you surround yourself with. If you are scrolling on social media, seeing a model with 10% body fat, and he's saying, if you don't look like me, then you're not going to get any bitches, and you think, oh, get fucked, mate. and then you scroll again and you see something similar, and then your mate says the same. Oh, you don't look like me. It's no wonder you don't get any bitches. Then this is going to slightly change your perception of how you see the world and make you have them worries. Confidence is a perception as well as knowing the outcome. If you have the perception of an 80-year-old woman is sexy, then that's sexy to you because that's your perception. If your perception of yourself is low, fat, lazy, then you won't have confidence in the actions you take. The things you do will be lazy. The way you look will be lazy. Think about that guy you know. He's not really the best looking, his body's average, maybe a bit on the fatter side, but he can talk to all the girls that you want to speak to. This is because of the perception of himself. He's got a high perception of himself. He thinks highly of himself. Doing the good habits and building on our weaknesses, whether that's physically, mentally, or intellectually, this can be a good way to not only build confidence and reduce the feeling of inadequacy, but it can make us proud. And being proud is an integral part of being confident. Alcohol is a big thing when we start to talk about confidence. We can buy a bottle of confidence from every bar, restaurant and shop. So it's no wonder why we rely on it so much. And I'm glad I got to the point where I wanted to stop drinking, go into pubs and clubs. I was so heavily reliant on it giving me confidence when it came to pulling girls. When I was around friends, they would say things like, oh, go and pull her. My mind would instantly jump to, oh, I'm not drunk enough yet, I can't do that. I was making excuses because I knew deep down I didn't have the confidence to do that. I was riddled with anxiety, thinking about going up to her and making a dick out of myself. The closest thing I did at the time was just dancing with the girls. So when I decided to stop drinking, this was big. I was ready to finally put myself into a terrifyingly uncomfortable situation. I wanted real confidence, not something I got out of a bottle. So I knew that would come from the suffering I was about to put myself through. I would have never have grown to who I am today if I didn't make that decision. That decision led me to walking up to my first girl without a drink in my system. And yes, I failed, I got rejected, but it wasn't even that bad. The fact that I went up to her, I was more happy about that. It was my first ever girl that I walked up to, and I was proud of myself. And this was the first of many baby steps that I took to building more confidence and being able to go up to girls without thinking about it. The more I did it, the easier it got. But if I never made that decision of cutting drink out of my life, I would have never been forced into that situation, resulting in an unfulfilling life. Your self-beliefs have a profound impact on how confident you are. Your negative self-talk is a big reason why you can't do the most things you are faced with. Words are spells at the end of the day. If you are telling yourself you can talk to a crowd of people, you're going to be less nervous than the person that is telling themselves they can't speak to this crowd of people. The self-talk dialogue comes from different situations in parts of our lives. The time you was 5 and your mum shouted at you for being too loud, or when you went up to do a presentation in front of your class and you messed up and they all laughed at you and you got so embarrassed. The negative self-talk comes from experience that has happened in our life, such as trauma or embarrassing moments. They play a big role in how we act in the present day. To be able to rid yourself of this negative self-talk, you have to change things you say to yourself, whether it's out loud, in your mind. You got to catch yourself and be aware of it, and to make it a more positive hypnosis. And I say hypnosis because you are changing what you believe to be true. And what we believe to be true is part of being hypnotized. The next best way to change your self-beliefs and pair it with the positive self-talk is to relive the moments you remember which were traumatic to you. How did you feel? Who was around? What were you wearing? Forgive the people and person that made you feel the way that you did, and let that emotion go. Holding on to that emotion is not doing you any good. Neither will it change anything. The only way you can change is the way you look at them experiences to grow and heal from it. There's a practice you can do that I've done for every time the emotions start to get a bit too much. This practice is backed up by scientific research. The practice is called mental picturing. And mental picturing is a practice you can do before any situation to get repetitions in, to get more confident in that situation. You might be thinking, surely not, that doesn't work. And I can tell you from my experiences, it does. I've wanted to go up to girls, but I've never been able to until this practice. I sat myself down and rehearsed things I could say, what they would say, what questions I might be asked, what responses I'm going to give. I ran through my mind every possibility that could come up, giving me confidence and positive mindset going into that situation. You can use this for any situation you want to get more practice in, more confident in. I've used this before videos. Basketball players have used this before games, and TED Talk hosts have used it before going on stage. You can use it before any situation you can go into. You want to visualize as much as possible. Say you're going into a job interview and you want to think about the questions you might ask, they might ask, what you're wearing, what environment you're in, how you're going to say them questions, how they're going to say them questions, what hand gestures, what facial expressions you're going to use. The more visual you can make it, the better this practice is, and the more you are going to succeed in whatever you want to do. I'm not saying this is the answer to all of your prayers, but the more mental repetitions you get in, the more confident you're going to feel. The act of mental picturing is so powerful because the brain does not know the difference between a mental picture and a memory. So the mental pictures you are running through your mind can be stored as memories. So it's like you've been in that situation before, and then you remember it when the situation eventually comes up. This won't give you 100% success rate, and nothing will. But I'm confident in sharing this information because I know after you are done visualizing yourself in different situations, whatever scenario it is, and you get that practice in, it will bring you closer to succeeding and being more confident. Practice this preferably somewhere quiet with no distractions, whether that's meditating, in the shower, or up a mountain. Visualize yourself how you're going to swing that golf club. How bent are your knees? What club do you need for the shot? How much power are you going to use? Is there any wind? I think you will do this and be shocked at the results you get, because I was. To conclude this video, find your pain point to push you through them tough times. Change the information you are consuming that is being fed to you by social media, the news, and people around you. Remove alcohol out your life. You don't need a bottle to make you confident. You need to be proud of yourself and confident in the actions and abilities you have. Change your self-beliefs and negative self-talk. Think highly and positively about yourself. And use mental picturing to get the reps in, to practice before future situations come about. I'm Harvey Evans, a small, atypical YouTuber helping young men on their self-improvement journey. Do what needs to be done, not what you feel like doing.